Welcome back to another episode of Season 2 of Ready, Set, Bake. My name is Raeya, I'm your host, and this season is all about accelerating our skills in the kitchen by learning from some of the best in the pastry arts and cake decorating industry. I'm here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, and we're gonna meet Crystal Reddy, the owner of Ready Made Cakes. We're gonna see the behind the scenes of a morning in the bakery, and Crystal is gonna share her expertise with us. Crystal, it's so nice to finally meet you, and I'm so excited to be here at Ready Made Cakes.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. Welcome.
Do you want to do a small introduction about yourself? Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do here.
Yeah, of course. I'm Crystal Reddy from Ready Made Cakes, and I own a cake decorating store in Abbotsford. I've been here for about almost 10 years in 2023, and I started from my home in London, Ontario. And then I went to school for 2 years and in London, and then I came out here for the baking and pastry program, and in that time I was doing cakes from home as well and kind of built up my clientele. And then this space became available. They weren't doing anything with it, with the upstairs in the kitchen. So I just kind of took it over and started doing my thing. And it took a while to get rolling, but in the end, it's kind of all worked out. I have a huge team now, and well, I have not a huge team, but I have about 6 people on my team, and it works really well. I'm my own boss, and I can, do what I want and do what I love, and nobody's in charge of me, which is great.
Yeah, that's great. It looks amazing in here.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that you started about 10 years ago. Did you go to school for pastry arts?
So I went to Fanshawe College in London, Ontario, and they had a baking and pastry program. So I did a chef's training course, then a culinary management course, and in that they had a baking program as well. So I did the basics of baking and then started taking customers on at home.
That's great. So you always kind of had a passion for baking then.
Yeah.
So when did you start baking, and how did you know that you wanted to go into this field and run a bakery?
I would say when I was working at a hotel, I was doing a culinary program where it was an allocated amount of hours that you had to work for free. So I went into a hotel and started working with a sous chef, and the sous chef did pastries on the side. And I was very curious as to what she was doing and very curious as to the art of the desserts and stuff. So I had kind of went under her wing, and she taught me a little bit about the baking world, and then she also she did baking on the side as well. So she told me that she was doing a cake, and I said, hey, can I show up and just watch you? And she did it once, and I was hooked right then. I couldn't, stop thinking about fondant covered cakes, and then my best friend was having a baby shower, and I did her cake with Julie, and it was great. We just had a great time, and I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was better than what I had expected it to be, and everybody loved it at the party, and that just kind of hooked me right from then.
I know it was a similar experience for me. When I first started cake decorating, I made my first cake, and by no means was it perfect, at all. It was flopping, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
But I know I had so much fun doing it, so I was like, I really want to get into this and learn how to do it. And it's so great that there are so many icons in the industry and people who you can look up to and who are willing to teach you how to do this. I know the internet is such a great resource to learn how to do it. Yeah.
YouTube is fantastic. I wish it was, available when I was younger. But yeah.
I know it's definitely a different experience for you learning how to do it, because you had to you didn't really have the internet to look to, and there wasn't a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, the online was definitely my biggest resource.
Yeah, very lucky. Your generation's
very lucky. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what's your favorite thing about running a bakery? What does your normal routine look like?
Well, I have a team that works with me, so they do a lot of the prep work for me, and then I would come in usually around 9 or 9:30 when everything is almost done or prepped. Come in and I would start decorating cakes or start doing the details for the custom cakes. That's mainly like what I do now. But you know, if somebody's sick, then I would help out on whatever needed to be done. So if they needed help with baking, you know, I kind of pitch in with baking. If they need help with doing decorations or cookies or something like that, I would help in with that too. So I'm kind of like all over the place, but I still have, you know, my specific job is to come in and kind of finish the custom cakes and make that, you know, my job for the day is just finishing it all.
It's great that you built such a great team. What would you say is the most challenging part of running a bakery?
I would say the most challenging part is making sure you're organized and making sure that the team is also on the same track as you. Because as soon as if somebody comes in that's not really aware of how things run or how we prep things to get organized for the day, it can go sideways really quickly. So having that training in the mornings or having like a list of what you need to do per day or per week or per month, it really helps make sure everything is organized and goes smoothly. It's kind of chaos if somebody, you know, doesn't show up and something doesn't get done. Then we all have to pull together as a team. You know, in any job, we have to make sure that everything gets done. But I would say that's the most challenging. It's when somebody is sick and you have to not only take on your job for the day, but take on that other job for the day as well. Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of time management involved.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
What do you have planned for ready-made cakes in the future?
Well, we have signed a couple golf courses for next year, so I'm really excited for that. We've also signed up with a couple of event planning companies that are specifically using us for their wedding cakes and their party cakes. We just, next weekend, we just finished our Christmas party platter with one of the golf courses, so that is something that's really exciting for me because we haven't really hit that, you know, mark. I've always kind of focused on birthday cakes and the wedding cakes, but not specifically dealing with actual companies that need us all, you know, year round. So that's really exciting for next year, is to take on a little bit more with the wedding cake side.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you run your weddings that you've already done, like your wedding cakes?
Yeah, so everything's based online. So the customer would fill out the online order form and receive a quote. And then if they wanted to proceed after that, then we would schedule like a tasting consultation where they would come in and taste the cupcakes, and we would talk about the design from there. After that, we kind of wait until the day, you know, like a week before, and start prepping the details and the decorations and all the buttercream and the cake, and then we'd stack it all and bring it in my car and set it all up at the venue, add the flowers and the toppers, and then take a video and take some photos for social media. And yeah, it's neat when it all comes together because you've been working with the bride for about a year almost, sometimes even longer.
Oh, I can see it's definitely more than just making a cake. It's all of the behind the scenes.
Yes.
And it's definitely a lot more work than it seems, right?
Yes, it's a lot more work than just like a basic like buttercream covered cake, but it's all worth it at the end. You know, you see the bride sometimes and you see the groom and
the reactions?
Yeah, and the reactions too. That really, really helps.
So it makes it worth it then.
Oh yeah. And then you get a little card that says thank you too. That always makes it worth it. Yeah.
So what do you think is one learning experience that has, I guess, changed the way you run your bakery or thought about the pastry arts?
I would say how hard we work. You know, you don't really realize, you know, how much work goes into making a cake or cookies or cupcakes or anything like that. I would say I didn't really realize how much time you actually needed for one specific cake, or to prep, or to the time it took to make that come to life. I think it took me a little bit to realize just how long something would take versus just picking up like a grocery store cake and calling it a day, right? Yeah, there's a lot more work into making cakes, and some people don't realize, you know, how long
it is very time consuming.
Yeah, until you actually make something, and then you're like, oh yeah, that actually
it is harder than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's obvious you've had such a successful career running this beautiful storefront and offering all of these amazing cakes and building a team. I mean, it's endless, but what do you think is your biggest accomplishment?
I would just say running a business is my biggest accomplishment. You know, you as a little girl, you don't expect to run something, you know, this big, and not everybody does, you know, run something, you know, from their house and move on and move to a business. So I think just running a business in general is a very big accomplishment for anybody, not just in the cake world, but, you know, out of all of the industries out there, it's very eye-opening. You know, you don't expect this to happen, and sometimes it just falls into your lap and you just pick it up and say yes.
I'm sure it was a big transition moving from like working out of your home, like a home bakery, into moving into a huge storefront where all of a sudden you have all of these business like things that you have to do. Yeah. So what was it like?
It was exciting, actually. You know, I feel like I was taking up every room in my home, and I wasn't really having that separation between like work and home. So once I actually moved here, it was actually like a lifting experience for me, just because I would go home and it would be home now instead of work plus home. So there was a lot going on, you know, there. But as soon as I moved here, it was very freeing almost, that I like, this was my space, this was my home, you know, I could build what I wanted here and I could be my own boss, and I didn't have anybody harping down my neck or, you know, breathing down my neck telling me what to do. You know, I could, you know, do things on my own time, and I still had, you know, deadlines and stuff, but it wasn't the whole, you know, life anymore, right? Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so it was definitely great for you to have your own environment that was just for work, to do what you love, and then come home and just have that nice relaxation time where it's not all muddled together.
Yes.
So we'll wrap this up by asking you, what do you think is your biggest piece of advice for home bakers or amateur bakers?
I would say measure everything by weight. There's a lot of measurements out there where it's just like 1 cup of this and 1 cup of that, or a teaspoon of this or a teaspoon of that. I would suggest really weighing out your ingredients, because that'll change everything.
I've also switched from using cups measurements into measuring with grams with a scale, and it's definitely improved my baking a lot. I've been getting more consistent results. It's a lot more accurate, especially with ingredients like flour, which can be condensed down. I know, like, I was measuring out a cup of flour and it was like 300 grams when it's supposed to be like 120. It's crazy.
Yeah, and sifting too, I would say. Sifting is definitely important. Sifting all your ingredients and mixing it before you add your wet or anything like that is definitely one of another like really good things to do.
Yeah, baking is very particular. You think all of these small things don't matter because they're just very minute. But all of those small things can definitely
it's a science.
Definitely impact. Yeah, it is, definitely. Thank you so much for answering all of my questions. I love talking to you here. And we're going to see a little behind the scenes of what happens.
So we've got chocolate cheesecake, double chocolate, chocolate mocha, gingerbread, coffee crunch, plain Jane, which is just a basic chocolate cake with vanilla buttercream. We've got a cinnamon bun, and then we've got a vanilla Oreo and a red velvet.
They all look so delicious. So here I have this beautiful cupcake in front of me. It's one of Ready Made Cake's most popular flavors. Red velvet with cream cheese frosting. I'm so excited to try it.
I'm excited for you.
So we both agree that the only right way to eat a cupcake is to unwrap it, take the bottom, and you pull it up and put it on top.
Get in there.
Way. Oh my gosh, I can feel how moist it is. Okay. Let's take a bite.
Get in there.
Just hold this. Oh my god, that is delicious.
So good, hey? Is that like cream cheese like makes it?
It's so creamy. I could definitely see why this is one of the most popular flavors. Thank you so much.
going to be working on a Peppa Pig cake for a customer. She has ordered this for her little girl's first birthday. And I've got a bit of fondant here. We make all of our fondant from scratch, so it includes marshmallows, icing sugar, a little bit of shortening and water, and we do that every week so that it's nice and fresh for anybody who orders a cake from us. So I just got some white fondant here on the table. I've already pre-made all of my colors and set it all up in how I need to do some of the details on the cake. Sometimes in cake decorating they have little cutters that are super handy for anybody who's doing details that don't want to cut them out individually or by hand. You have sweet little cutters that help the process. So I've just got some clouds here. I'm gonna do a couple different sizes of clouds in white, and then I'll switch to doing my rainbow. And we're just gonna put the rainbow on a little bit of cardboard because it just helps the stability of the rainbow so it doesn't fall. Sometimes you can do these details weeks in advance so that it would be completely dry, but we just like to back it with some cardboard just to make sure that it doesn't fall over during the process or when the customer is driving it home. All I'm doing is putting some water on a piece of cardboard. I've already pre-cut it, so I might have to pre-cut it again. But I just made sure that I can stick some toothpicks or some sticks right up the top of this to help it stabilize properly. So what I'm gonna do is take my first color and put it on, and then continue with my other colors. Thank you. I'm gonna go all the way around and press down just a little bit so that it sticks. And on the last one, it just needs a little bit more water here. And on the last one, we're just going to make sure that it's on the edge so that we can't see the cardboard on the other side. And then we're going to cut it. And put a little bit more water on there just to help it stick. You can use water, you can use vodka as well. Vodka dries very, very quickly, so it doesn't leave the watermarks on here, but if you use a little bit of water, it shouldn't make a huge difference. So we've got our little rainbow here, and just kind of smooth out the sides, and then I'm going to put 2 cake pop sticks along the back of it, right inside the cardboard so that it doesn't move. Flip this over again and just make sure that the fondant isn't going to move. So I've got my little rainbow here, just like that. And I've got my clouds ready to go. I'm just gonna put this right on the cake. Okay, so I've got my rainbow right on there. And then we're just gonna add the little details. So we're just going to add the little clouds. I'm just putting a little bit of water on the back of it. And it makes the cake complete. This is a really super cute cake. It's got some flowers on it too, so I'll be doing some fondant flowers on it. And you can kind of add whatever you want to the cake. It's kind of really your creative freedom when you do cakes like this, because you have so much playroom on these cakes. So I'm gonna do some flowers next. So again, just using my cutters. These make it really, really easy to make cakes. Oop. So I'm gonna make my sun. I'm gonna make some strips. And then I'm gonna cut them to size. Add the decorations onto the cake. So I started with my sun because I want this to be the focal point of my cake.
And then I'm just adding on the flowers just randomly wherever. And it doesn't need anything on the backs as the fondant's pretty sticky right now, so it'll stick regardless of where you put them. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding the flowers, more flowers to the cake. And you can kind of put them wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. Just sticking them on lightly. Just a little bit of detail here. So I'm gonna finish off the sun. Fondant's pretty flexible too. If you end up damaging it or bumping it or cutting it in a certain way, you can just reshape it. It's very easy to work with. It's going to be a cute little Peppa Pig that the customer is providing that's gonna go on top of this one. Most of the time we get our customers to provide their own characters, just in case they're looking for a specific character or size, or if we don't have time to go to the store, it's always easier if the customer just provides it for us. So we'll make the cake, and then they either drop off the topper a couple days beforehand, or they can add their own when they get home. This one has decided to add it when they get home. And then I can do a little number on there as well. So there's the sun, cute little cake, and then if I need any more flowers, I can just add some more on there. When you're working with fondant, it's really important to keep your station clean because these colors tend to blend in together. So if you keep it all clean and together, it won't create a rainbow in fondant. So I leave them just on the side. It also does dry out, so I usually have a bag of fondant just sitting here so that I can add my colors into my bag so that the fondant doesn't dry out. And this is a number mold. It works the same way as the flower molds. Just squishing the fondant in there, making sure that it's smooth. So I'm gonna add a bit of water to the back of this guy. It is a bit soft already, but adding the water is like a glue. All right. So added the 3 on there, and this cake is all done. This is a pretty cute cake. 3-year-old will love it.
Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Ready, Set, Bake. I had so much fun here at Ready Made Cakes, seeing all behind the scenes and meeting Crystal. See you next time.